sensation. Everything is digital. We will elevate you. Wireframe and mythical. Vector equals sounds.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dennis G., your therapist for this evening.
And I'm Neon Fawkes, your other therapist for the evening.
I feel like I need a therapist. I feel like this is like one big group therapy.
Dude, I'm looking at the chats right now. I'm having a hard time keeping up, tracking everyone's names, because you know how I like to do shout-outs.
Yeah.
I do want to remind everyone, we are live. So if you are tuned in into YouTube or the nightride.fm IRC chat, pop in and say hi, because we like to shout out names.
Yeah.
And we can all share messages and things like that.
Yeah.
Dennis, what are we doing tonight?
Well, we are doing something that I've never done before, honestly, but this is a very special episode of the State of Synth to honor just a great friend of the show, great friend of Synthwave, great friend of ours, Mr. Starcadian, who is back in the stars. And we're going to do kind of a mix tonight. We're going to speak to some of the people that was very close to him. We're going to read a ton of submissions that everybody sent in. Like, I feel like it just absolutely exploded with all of the messages for us to read, and that's just wonderful. So we're going to read as many as we can. Hopefully we can read them all. And we're going to play some clips, some old clips, some fun clips. We're going to tell some stories. We're going to play some awesome tunes. And we're going to try to end the show making everyone feel a little bit better than when you started the show. That's our goal. If you feel worse,
this is a celebration of the art and the person.
Yeah, absolutely. And real quick, speaking of clips, we do have to welcome. I was actually going to say this line, but Jules, you went in and you went through our archives and you found a little piece of Starcadian that I think it kind of sets the mood for the show. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and, in his words...
We have a message from Starcadian.
Special message from Starcadian.
What's up, fuckers? How's it going?
Man, welcome back.
Yes, that was our favorite. I've never had a synthwave guest greet the show with "What's up, fuckers." I mean, but, coming from George, I think it was absolutely fitting because nobody else would say it but him. He was bold, He was definitely one of the bolder, more charismatic people we've had on the show, people that we've met in general. Yep. So,
I also want to say we are joined right now by one friend of his, James Secker.
Yes,
you there?
Hello. Yes, I'm here. Thank you for
welcome.
Having
Thank
you
you for joining us.
And it's an honor to be here and to preserve the legacy of the man, the myth, the legend.
We'll share stories.
Yeah.
Later on, we'll be joined by Jared from Neotropolis. And then a little bit later on, Rob O'Neill, George's co-video FX producer / friend. Yep.
Yeah, the Robin to his
You want to know about Starcadian, you talk to Rob.
The Batman to his Robin, I'm not sure who's who. I don't know who wears the spandex, but I guess both. I don't know. How does that analogy work? I don't really know.
Should I do some shoutouts? Because
you know what, I think if you are bold enough to do shout-outs with this chat room, I'd say go for it.
Because if I don't get some of these out of the way, oh my
it's
God.
Gonna be insane.
All right, folks, like as I said, we are live and we love shouting out everyone who joins in the chat because we thank you for listening, and we're all here to share the music. So let's get right off the bat. We've got Mocha in the chat, as well as Nas and Plastic Geek. I've got the Starcadian action figure, thanks to Plastic Geek.
It's incredible.
And we've also got Kyle Carnage, Labyrinthine Complexities, aka Lisa. Our buddy from Down Under, Craig Packman. We've got Lobster, Sammy Toro, Crimson, our buddy from Poland, Dysterian's in the house.
Wow.
Jared's lurking in the chat. We've also got Graphic Mercenary, Adam Carini.
Amazing.
We'll be reading out a message from him a little bit earlier. I believe Rose is in the chat. She was listening to Karin's show earlier and couldn't figure out how to get her nick right. But I think it's Rose, so I think I got it right.
We'll get there eventually.
And Sorcerer Avery's in the house. We've got a message from them. We've also got Computer M, who's moderating the chat in the IRC.
Thank you, Computer M.
Yeah, Fooling Took, who's in the chat. A little LOTR reference there.
Yeah.
Ultra Love. I think that was the song we started with, by the way.
I love it.
Starcadian's Ultra Love was popping in and out. I hope the jumping around has stopped. We've also got James over in the YouTubes.
Ryan Infamy, I see.
Yeah, Ryan Infamy's in the house. Synthwave83, aka Dawn, is in YouTube. We've got Bite. We've got Smitty. We've got Powerplay Milo. Storm is in the house. We met her down in Neotropolis. And Hearts and Betas in the house. Jonathan Monitz. We got Peyton Janning. We've got Karen Zoe Leaves also tuned in.
This is like we've had the midnight on with less people.
I know. Cheese Juice is in the house. Tesla Night Productions. Brendan Rosansky. Am I missing anyone?
You're probably going to be rolling with this.
I am. The Undead Weasel is also jumped into the YouTube. So that's
this
so
is
far
a full house.
This just goes to show the power of Starcadian.
Yeah.
You know, that's absolutely it. But the thing is, people just loved him as a person, because he was, I know him from of course, I know him from the interviews that we did with him, but I also I was fortunate enough to have met him. And also, I was a regular in his Discord, and I know he had an avid Discord channel. Not really like one of those Discords that, like every artist has a Discord, and, you go in there, it's like 3 people or one person's chatting every 2 weeks. This was like a busy Discord that, was constantly like moving and shaking, and he would always go in and have that touch base with people, and that's
can I let you in on a cool fan story?
Yes, we need to get the stories rolling early.
I'll line you guys up here. So I went to a gig where it was Waveshaper, Absolute Valentine, and Starcadian playing at the Underworld in London. It was Easter, and not a lot of people turned up. Like I was expecting more people to be there. It was like quite busy, but not so busy. And then in the VIP area, like when we were in the backstage, I was like, holy shit, like who is that? And it was like, oh my god, like Dragon Force are here. And I was like, why are Dragon Force here? And there's like, Waveshaper was like, oh, they're here to see Starcadian. Supposedly they were playing in the city, and they literally, I think they were playing the next day or the day before or something.
Wow.
And they came out to see Starcadian because they love Starcadian, and they were just chilling in the VIP area at a Starcadian gig. And I was like, this is nuts.
It's incredible. He was just so much more than the sum of his parts, if that makes any sense.
I love what Brandon Rosansky said over in the YouTubes. When he first discovered Midnight Signals, he spent a while, so this was the same for a lot of us, trying to find the movie it was based on, since it says original motion picture soundtrack. And you're like, where?
Oh my god. Yeah.
By the way, a couple of more shout outs. We got Caracal Computing over in the YouTube.
Hey.
Or is it Carousel Computing? Somebody named Pilot joined us in the IRC.
Oh my goodness, here we go.
Never heard of him.
Here come the celebrities into the chat.
Yep. Haggis Salt.
Pilot, great guy. Love that guy.
Yeah.
Haggis Salt is in the house. Luke has joined us in the IRC. And Yokai Props over in the YouTubes. I have a feeling there's a lot of Neotropolis folk in here too.
Yeah, I mean the people at Neo loved him, including we played at Neo, and I played maybe about 15 seconds of Trapped in America. It was my little nod and my little Easter egg to Starcadian. This was about a month ago.
Such a great song. That
incredible. I mean it just thumped. It was just one of them songs. I was like, I'm just gonna sneak it in and see if anyone notices. But yeah, this is insane. We have so much to read. Jules, I don't even know how we can get through all this. What do we do?
Well, let's. So first of all, I do want to do a shout out to Nova, who's the artist behind some of the Starcadian artwork we use in our posts way back since 2021.
Thank you, by the way.
So yeah, thank you for letting us do that. I totally forgot to credit it in the post.
That's how great Starcadian was too. He was like, we just, we use artwork from the artist and everything like that, but he put it out there like, this is the person who did this artwork, and just the little things like that, the little touch points with people who make the art and the people that are in his universe. I think that's really amazing how he's there for everyone.
So I think to get the ball rolling, because we are going to read out a bunch of little tributes.
A lot of
folks
reading.
Sent in.
And
yeah, it'll give me a lot of reading. You're going to hear my voice a lot.
Me.
Unless, Dennis, you want to read some of these, because
I need my glasses.
I gotta work on my radio voice to make these sound
I can do
better.
some of the short ones, but some of the long ones, I'm in a really awkward.
Word of warning, Zarina
state of
sent in
blindness.
a short message.
Yes.
We've left it till the end because it's not so short.
We have it
but
chaptered out.
George is worth it.
Intermission.
Yeah. So how about we kick off with our second Starcadian track of the night?
All right, let's do that.
All right. So a lot of people came across this in the YouTubes because it's just so awesome. It features, typical 80s fitness dancers getting their heads blown off.
Yeah.
And this is from the album Saturdays. So here it is. This is Starcadian with Dance or Die right here on Night Ride FM.
That was Dance or Die by Starcadian.
Yeah. I'm just picturing people's heads blowing up.
You know, what was that
with,
show?
With the hooded one sitting in judgment.
There was a show, too, and this was the crazy thing about Starcadian. The show was on Netflix, and it was, oh, man, I'm help me out in the chat. Anybody in the chat? There was a part of the show. It was like a game show where, like, there was, like, 50 people or 100 people, and, like, they just kept, like...
Are you talking about the Korean one?
Yeah. What was that?
Squid Game?
Yeah,
Squid Games, yes. And he was like, Squid Games kind of ripped me off. And I'm like looking at the Squid Games and I'm looking at the Dance or Die video and I'm like, oh my God, you're right. Like, it was insane. Like the whole concept of the plastic mask and the dying and the just heads exploding, and like, this is like, he nailed it. And yeah. I feel like he was due some royalties for sure, but you can't get that Netflix money. That Netflix money is too good. Too many lawyers.
I do have another shout out, Phil Rain, who's in the IRC chat.
Yay!
And yeah, let's read a couple of our first submissions.
Let's do it.
That were sent in. So we got one from Crush Tor, who says Starcadian was once in a generation talent. He made us all feel like kids again, like we were living in fantasy worlds on shimmering VHS movie screens. He will be sorely missed. He will.
Yeah.
And sure. I've got another one from Jonathan. Let's see. Okay, take a deep breath here. Mentally, I was doing very poorly around 2018. Music has always been a large part of my life, so I would immerse myself in it to get through the rougher days. While I was familiar with Starcadian through his track Supersymmetry, I didn't become a massive fan until I heard Midnight Signals. Midnight Signals was one of the albums to keep me going when I was on the edge of a cliff. I don't say his music saved me, but it sure gave me a purpose to keep going. I had to hear what else this talented artist could come up with. To hear of his passing was a shock. It was almost like losing a friend. As parasocial as that sounds, having his music through those tough times meant so much to me, and I had planned to attend one of his shows if he ever played within a few hours' drive, if only to tell him how his art helped me stick around. Midnight Signals has remained at the top of my most played albums every year, and is likely in my top 5 albums of all time. See you in New Sidonia, George. Thanks for everything.
Oh man, some of these they're gonna hit. They're gonna hit.
They'll hit hard. But we're all here together. We all feel the same stuff.
Yeah, of course. And just to kind of circle back to James,
Yes.
You seem to be one of the fortunate people who have spent a lot of time with Starcadian, and I'd love to hear some of your experiences and how you met, and a little bit about what you put together too, because you're kind of a big part of the UK scene, and all right, so I'm just gonna let you say all those things that I just
Yeah.
set
So
up
basically, like you guys, I'm a big fan of Starcadian. Kind of found his stuff out by, I think most of the people kind of like understood it by when Chinatown hit back in the day. It was a massive thing with the video and everything. I was putting together a festival, Retro Future Festival in the UK.
Yes.
I've helped out with all the Retro Future festivals, been one of the organizers for that. Really wanted to get him in for the 2019 one, so I got Danger, Makeup and Vanity Set, Betamax, different people across. But I always remember one of my ultimate finds. I really wanted to get Starcadian across.
For sure.
And I just wanted to meet him because he's just an amazing person. Like, his stuff is out of this world. And also, he was amazing to talk to before I even booked him. I was just chatting with him all the time online. We met up in London as well before the concert started. I'll let you in on a really fun thing, seeing as we're doing an in memoriam episode here. We were talking in a coffee shop before the concert. It was the day of the concert. We were getting everything ready, and I took George for coffee, and we were chatting. And I said, "What are you up to now?" And he said, "Well, I'm a VFX artist." I said, "Oh, I know." And then he said, "I've got this really weird job at the moment. I am currently CGIing Mark Wahlberg's face onto body doubles."
What?
I said, why are you doing that? And he goes, there's a sex scene, but Mark Wahlberg doesn't do sex scenes.
What?
So I have to CGI Mark Wahlberg's face onto a body double, and I have to do it shot by shot. So he's like doing it like clip by clip, second by second. This man is having sex with this lady and putting Mark Wahlberg's face onto. And I said, that is absolutely incredible. I always remember it, and we were just laughing for absolutely ages, and it was so good. And I was like, that is what you do for a job. And that's the first time I was like, this guy. This guy is like he's a dime a dozen. I love it.
I'm looking at my job, and man, it sucks.
I was like, this is amazing, and I just love it. And then we hit it off like a house on fire. I was supposed to also put a festival on this year in the UK again. He was going to headline as well as a few other artists, but unfortunately that's not going to be the same anymore. And also we're going to work on like a movie or two together. And we over the years we've just been chatting online. I was going to go over to New York as well. He was going to show me around the sites and everything. Yeah, it's a pretty devastating time, but that's one of the reasons I'm on this show. It's kind of like a cathartic experience to just talk about him and just his legacy and his work, which has been absolutely stunning. He was actually going to play my wedding as well, but he had. I got. It was supposed to be him and Maith Elvin. Maith Elvin DJ'd the wedding, but it was supposed to be him doing a live set after I got married. But he had obligations, unfortunately, with his work. But that's how much of like a big part of my life he was, because like his music, and it was just it doesn't matter if you're not into the synth wave as well.
You don't have to be.
You don't have to be, because he transcended genres. It was funk, it was electronica, it was like everything. So everybody liked his music, and that is one of the things that he can rest easy thinking that his legacy will live on just within it. There's not a certain like age gap that likes his music. No. Everybody that has been introduced to Starcadian loves Starcadian.
If you have ears, I think you'll like it.
You could tell by the people that he toured with and opened for and did shows with and everything like that. He just had, what is it, the TWRP, the Tupperware,
TWRP,
which are just like total prog rocky kind of funky, like just, and some of its influences too that he shared on our show. Like it's just a lot of it was like, you know, metal and Prince and just so much stuff that he was drawing from that, you know, you could just tell that it just comes through in his stuff. And to this day, I can't really say any artist out there is sounding anything close to the stuff that he's doing, and I kind of hope that it remains that way, you know, because he was kind of a one in a million type of artist.
A lot of the synthwave artists have their niche where it's kind of like they do evolve with their albums, but you can still tell it's their style.
Right, he's in reinvention almost every other album. It's
pretty much, and it's like, but you can still tell it's him, which is very, very, very clever, but at the same time it is not the same thing as you've listened to before. It's like the massive jump between Midnight Signals and Radio Galaxy is huge, and it's awesome at the same time.
And in between that, you could almost I kind of detected a little bit of the evolution of where he was going next. Was a little project called the Ocean Project.
Yeah.
So that ended up turning into a big debacle. But I remember talking to him, and that was, long story short, it was a project that people ended up kind of getting shafted in the end because he kind of owned all those royalty rights, and it was supposed to be this thing to gain awareness for this Ocean Sea project, which was some crazy stuff happening out in the ocean, because it's what is it, nautical law or something, that there was, you know, human trafficking and all kinds of just wild stuff. And it was just something to bring attention to that project, and they were able to use sound bites from some of the documentaries, and he used some we're going to play Shadowcatcher towards the end of the night, one of my favorite songs. But anyway, long story short, there was a falling out. Everyone kind of quickly disassociated themselves with that Ocean Music project, but he re-released the album as an instrumental, and you could just kind of feel the evolution of the sound that ended up turning into Radio Galaxy. So when we were talking about it, we're like, oh, you know, we're sorry that you had this experience with this company that, you know, ended up shafting so many great musicians. And he was like, no, he's like, yeah, that happened, but
Radio Galaxy may not be.
Radio Galaxy probably would have never happened if I didn't have that as a stepping stone and to evolve into. So it's one of them things where, you know, he kind of always had something positive to say, even out of a shitty situation, you know.
You know what, folks in the chat, slightly off topic, but they're talking about his Culver cheese curds post. Now everybody wants cheese curds. By the way, a
Synth,
quick shout out
sponsored
to
by
Power Rob, who joined us in the chat,
Ah, nice.
as well as Eliza Effect,
Very good.
who's in the IRC chats.
All right.
Shall we play a song?
We should play a song. We got to keep this train moving
Yeah.
here. So
Let's do it.
dive
All right. So we are jumping over to the Sunset Blood Special Edition. I don't know if you guys remember, but he lost the original files
That's right.
for Sunset Blood, right?
That's
Laptop accident or
right.
something like that.
Yeah.
And so it took him a long time, but he finally got around to reproducing Sunset Blood,
He rebuilt these songs.
all from scratch.
Insane.
Yep. So yeah, we'll play Heart, the remastered version from the Sunset Blood Special Edition by Starcadian. And you're listening to it right here on Night Ride FM.
There's something you should know. I'm gonna go out on my own. I need to relax and get rid of my phone. There's something I'm feeling. It's not quite that high or that low. I'm stuck in the sky and I can't let go. I ripped a hole through your heart, sucked all the love through the scars. Now we are binary stars, 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 stars. I'm getting excited over my feeling of dread. Don't know if this world is a lie in my head. I move like a raindrop, caught in a vacuum of air. I'm silent and calm, confused and aware. I ripped a hole through your heart, sucked all the love through the scars. Now we are binary stars, 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 stars. I ripped a hole through your heart, sucked all the love through the sky. Now we are binary stars, 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 stars.
and that was Heart by Starcadian.
Beautiful.
The thing is, he's so enigmatic that I had the hardest time even like reading his tracks because, of course, first of all, I'm terrible with reading things, you know. But you know, the Heart, the A, and I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
And then I think I originally said FAMS. I called it FAMS, and he's like, well, it's famous, but you know.
No, you're talking. Yeah,
I'm special.
Yeah, famous.
Yeah, I'm very special. But yeah, so that was a great tune. Remastered, remixed, rebuilt from the ground up. Insane.
Yep.
But
And quick shout outs to Nick Silvestri over in the YouTubes. And in IRC, we've got Jack Attack VHS who has joined us.
yeah.
So thanks for tuning in and joining in the chats, folk.
Oh my God.
We got a couple of more submissions to read out and then another tune.
Yeah, I believe it's Bite in the chat room just says that they wish they'd gotten the vinyl of this. I can't even imagine what Discogs is doing right now.
You're setting me off on the story that made me fall in love with this guy. You know what? I'm gonna read out my story.
All right,
and then I'll be done with Neon Fawkes.
All right.
But Dennis and I went to see Bunny X, Parlor Magic, Diamond Field, Nightwave Crew, and Robert Parker in Brooklyn. And we went to the Bunny X show, and little did we know that Starcadian George, his condo was like literally upstairs. So I am meeting Starcadian. I'm like, oh my God, I wish I had got your vinyls because I got into synthwave a little bit late and got on the vinyl train a little bit late.
Yeah.
And so I missed out on Midnight Signals.
And you don't want to spend $500 to go on.
Yeah, I'm not going to go to Discogs and pay some fool like $1,000 for it. Or actually, I think I was about to, and George said, no, don't do that. Of course, he was what, 5 whiskeys in?
Yeah, that's about right.
And he runs out of the bar, up to his condo, gets a couple of vinyls, signs them, comes back down and gives them to me, and then we kept on drinking.
And who does that?
Right?
Who stops whatever they're doing and just runs out, runs back?
You didn't get my
home.
vinyls? I'll leave this bar and go get you some.
Yeah, that was just an amazing moment for sure.
So he turned me into a Star Cadet then.
Yeah, I think you were before, but I think
I was a Star Cadet. I was a little more devoted.
Yeah.
But let me read out a couple of submissions.
All right.
We've got one from Luke Thomas Seneschal. This one comes from Facebook because I saw his post. And I think, Luke, that's you in the chats too, right? Anyways, I'm going to read this one out. R.I.P. Starcadian. I'll never forget when we went to see you in New York City and we met you at the bar. You were so humble and genuine, a real kind soul. We told you that our friend Tucker, also a huge fan, was downrange in Afghanistan and was upset that he couldn't be at the show with us. So what did you do? Only the most loving thing I've ever seen an artist do. You brought us to the green room, donned your mask, and made us a video to send him saying that you hope he's safe and you were sorry that he couldn't be there and thanked him for his service.
That's insane.
You and your incredible music will be missed. I hope along your journey you are welcomed back to New Sidonia with open arms. Heart emoji.
That is
I see stories like that. I'm like, we gotta read them out.
You guys seen the video for that? It was posted.
Yeah, I saw it on Luke's post.
It was fantastic. Really, really
so
nice.
wild. And the fact that you literally just said the same. We're like, who runs
does
back
that,
to
right?
their house
Well,
it was just a testament of the type of person that he was.
Yep.
That he would do that for people and for fans, and just it's wild. It's really wild.
Also want to do a little shout out to the Traveling Duchess who joined us in the YouTube chats. We got another submission and we're going to play another track.
All right.
So from Freep Dryer. I remember meeting him at the Dresden Castle last year, so shaken with nerves that I couldn't truly shoot the shit with Starcadian, but I hope he knows the kind of creative impact he had on a lot of us. A lot of his music gave me that exciting motivation to push through on my art and create something great. There is this echo of him that lives in us all, and I can't wait to see or hear what reflects from everyone. Rest easy in the stars, Starcadian. We'll miss you.
Amazing.
Very true. He's influenced a lot of people.
That's beautiful.
Given a lot of people the drive.
Indeed. All right, so we have so much to cover here.
We've only gotten through, 3 songs of his?
I just want to say that we have more songs than we've ever had on the show. We've had more submissions for our message thingy. You know, the form just like literally blew up.
It was like a ghost town there, and then
there's like tumbleweeds like just going by. Like, but you know, now rightfully so. Like, I'm glad that people, and I remember you in the beginning, Jules. You were like, yeah, well, I hope we get a couple. And I'm like, I think we're gonna get a few, and we ended
our
up getting
script, folks. We read it. I read off a script while we're doing this show, just so I know, keep things organized. And this script is probably the biggest script we've ever had.
Speaking of the script, I do want to mention that if you go to thestateofsynth.com, you can actually download this, which most of the scripts that we do have prepared, it's just, you know, the same old stuff. But this one is probably one you're going to want to download.
Everything we've read out is in here. All these little tribute messages.
It's all
they're
in
in here. So
it's cool.
One more shout out, Jeremiah Booth, over in the YouTubes. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for participating in the chats.
Very good. All right. So should we play a song? Yeah.
Yes. So we're still on Sunset Blood Special Edition, the, you know, reproduced from scratch.
Rebuilt, bigger, faster.
Folks have been
stronger.
talking about this song. A lot of people came across this video. This was one of his original videos where it was so cool. Dude walking through the city, neon lights. So yeah, here it is. This is Starcadian with Chinatown right here on Night Ride FM.
And that was not Chinatown.
Not Chinatown. That was Sergeant Tagawski, the live version. Dennis is skipping ahead some songs here. But I just wanted to say something. I remember we were talking to George, and one of his biggest thrills was playing that song live with Robert Parker.
Oh, my God. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, that's why I played the live version.
I love it.
So, you know what? Let's hear a little bit from the man himself.
Yeah.
So, Dennis, we got a good clip because you were the first to talk to him. You had your Dennis G's Artist Spotlight back in 2019.
And I feel like this was like just, I guess this wasn't my story, but like this is absolutely my story. Like way back when, like maybe like 2017, 2018 maybe. You know, I fell in love with Starcadian as everybody did, and I was, you know, not that we're anybody now, but I was like a nobody, like in the synthwave community. Nobody knew who I was, and I just had a microphone and a dream, you know? And I just reached out and I sent him an email, and he agreed to come on a completely unknown podcast. And, you know, he was freaking Starcadian, and just the fact that he had time to sit down for, I think that was probably like
an hour.
An hour. Well, that's an edited hour. So it was at least like 2 hours that we were talking, and we edited it down, and you could tell like the amount of times he's been on the show. Each time he's been on, like we didn't get to, you know, what's up fuckers, we didn't get that to like the very last episode. I can't even imagine if we had one more, how crazy that would have been. But we started
you know what, that wasn't I mean, we had him on for like what, 3.5 hours, almost 4 hours.
Yeah.
On the second last show we had him on, which was bananas. But let's hear this. So we've got this clip from Dennis's 1 hour spotlight.
This is early days, back when he, you know, was normal and quiet, and although still opinionated.
Folks, you can find this on YouTube. It's well worth listening because Dennis and George have a great conversation about the music and everything. It was aired back in July of 2019. And he talks, I took this little snippet out. This is where you and him talk about the lore of the Starcadian character.
Yeah.
So go ahead, play it, Dennis.
All right, so here it is. This is a little conversation about the lore of Starcadian.
It seems like you have a very, I guess it might be the understatement of the year, but a very passionate fan base. I just know that I just, you know, again, in doing my research and everything, I started looking through different YouTube videos and Reddit forums and posts and everything like that. There is a whole team of people that are literally trying to break down the lore of Starcadian and really just try to dissect. They went through every single video and they pieced everything together and like, this is what's happening. This is where the music is. And this is where he's going. And this is what New Sidonia is. And I find it really interesting that people can just get so wrapped up in not only the music, which is excellent, but the lore is something that just adds another completely new element to the music now, where, you know, you just have this huge mythos around your character. Now, obviously, you work really hard to kind of put together that image and everything like that. If people were really looking to go in and totally do a deep dive into Starcadian, is there something that, you know, people can kind of go to kind of really get that full-on story that people might be looking for?
Well, ideally at some point, fingers crossed, it will be laid out more straightforward in a movie or a series if we can get it done ever. But we basically, I've mentioned this before in interviews, but basically me and my co-director, we write out the story and the beats of the whole saga and the lore. So there was a script for Sunset Blood that came with the album. It's like a full movie, and the soundtrack is literally like the beats of the movie. Same with Midnight Signals, which is a prequel to Sunset Blood. Again, we have a script for that.
These are actual movies that people can watch as well and experience the music in the movie along with it?
No. We make the scripts so I know what to soundtrack. So the movies are not done, but the scripts are there. So I know what's going to happen. I know what it thematically needs, what beats the songs need to hit for these movies that we are trying to get done.
I gotcha.
But yeah, so
That's really interesting.
the reason we do that is so I can have a bird's eye view of the narrative. I know who Starcadian is. I know
There's continuity.
yeah, there's continuity. There's references between albums in every album. Like they always reference. There's like little quantum connections between the albums. So basically the sequence is going to be Midnight Signals Part 1, Midnight Signals Part 2, and then Sunset Blood is like the third in the series, and it's all like one big story which we've laid out. And the first hope was that we would make a music video. I remember when I first made Sunset Blood, I was like, we're going to make a music video for every song on the album. Clearly, I'm not a financial advisor. So yeah, that didn't quite work out.
Yeah, it did not quite work out, but I tell you, it's amazing with all of the lore, and the stuff that just drives me nuts is the fact that unless something happens that's like, extraplanetary, all that lore is just trapped inside of the albums, and that's just mind-boggling.
It's cryptic. It's cryptic, and it's awesome. That's what it is.
He also sounds like he's like me.
Yeah.
Just, what was it? Rob O'Neill, who had to put the brakes on a lot of things.
Oh, right. Yeah, because he's definitely like, he wanted to do a video for every song.
Yeah, man, Ultra Love needs a video.
Yeah, let's petition
of all the many. By the way, shout out to Cuddles who popped into the YouTube chat. So I got a couple of more little submission tributes to read out.
Yes.
Before we actually play for real.
Oh, let me read a
Chinatown.
short one.
Okay, you do the short one.
I can read. Sometimes.
I done can read.
I done did good in reading class. All right, so this is from my man Heartbeat Hero, and so Starcadian left an amazing legacy behind. Me and many other fans will miss him. Yeah, that's beautiful. Very nice.
Yeah. Got to do a quick shout out to Damian Jackson, who joined us in the YouTubes. Folks, if you don't know who Damian Jackson is, if you've seen the documentary Rise of the Synths, well, you can thank Damian Jackson for helping to produce that.
I mean, he's a big help with the scene, and he's also a massive fan. So
yeah.
Shout out to Damian.
Dennis and I got to hang with him at Neotropolis, so thanks to Jared for having us all down there.
So fun.
So, all right, I got the next one is from Adam, aka Graphic Merc. Let me read this one out. When I first met George, it was at the Nightwave, Robert Parker and Starcadian show in New York City. At the show, I ran into a very good friend of mine from high school named Will Frazier, who apparently was very good friends with George, and my very good friend, Cobra Wipeout. Because they all do VFX work, such a small world. That night, I had gotten to know George alongside his cosmic music, and he was nothing but humble and down to earth. And at the time, I just couldn't believe a Robert Parker and Starcadian show was happening right in front of me. It was insane. As some years passed and COVID happened, I wound up running into him at an Ollie Ride and Parallel show in the city, and another show that Dennis and Neon Fawkes were at too. But at the Ollie show, George and I reminisced about early days of Synthwave and proceeded to do shots and more shots of Jameson.
Oh my God.
Needless to say, that night was an absolute blast, and we became friends. Sound familiar, Dennis?
That was my second story about how I'll say it after you finish it.
So Graphic Merc continues. Sometimes I think about knowing that he lived in Brooklyn. We should have all hung out more. He truly will be missed, but his legacy will live on forever. Through us and through Synthwave. Thank you for everything, George. Keep on partying where the synth is loud and the drinks are eternal.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to add to that, yes, they were both of the times that Jules and I met Starcadian, and of course the whole Nightwave crew was there, and it was amazing. Yeah. And we did end up going to the Ollie Ride concert. This was my very first time seeing Ollie Ride and Parallels, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna go see Ollie Ride, and we're gonna meet up with Starcadian. That's gonna be incredible. And we ended up, me and Adam was there, and Starcadian, and we were all drinking whiskey, and he was just talking the entire night, like just shooting the shit, and just doing what George does, doing what Starcadian does, like just goes off on, we have these crazy wild laughs and discussions, and all the while Ollie Ride is performing on stage. I felt like a total asshole, but I'm with Starcadian right now. Like, so I was like touring. I finally did see Ollie Ride again, in Philly, but nothing was gonna pull me away from the charismatic Starcadian that he was, and of course the whiskey helps to bring out the best in all of us.
Oh yeah. Usually.
Yeah.
All right.
I still have a petition that I think that we should get Ride or Die T-shirts with a W for his tours.
Absolutely.
Yes. You know what? One thing we noticed when I went to see Ollie on his West Coast tour recently, and the music they play before the band goes on stage, if you notice, they're playing music which usually has either the track title or the lyrics have the word "ride" in it. So a little play on.
Oh wow! I
Ollie
didn't
Ride.
even notice that. That's crazy.
So, quick shout out to our overlord here at Night Ride FM. Z has joined the chat.
Mr. Z came out.
Yes.
To
Some of
play.
you might think he's AI. Some of us do too.
Some of us still do.
Anyways, I think it's time for a track. This
Yes.
time, we really are playing from the Sunset Blood Special Edition Starcadian Chinatown right here on Night Ride FM.
And that was, what was that, Jules?
Chinatown.
I feel like I have no confidence in my producing skills at this point. I'm just gonna just do what I normally do during shows and be like, Jules, did I get that right, Jules? And you're gonna nod your head like you usually
Once again, another track recreated. Well, this one was a live one, so I think he actually had a recording of this.
Yeah.
Oh no, he actually recreated the live version because there's he liked the way his live one, because he, Starcadian does do some ad hoc on the fly.
Yeah.
Kicking off
and
of sample, and
all that
vocals and stuff like that. I think he preferred his live one, so he included it on the Sunset Blood Special Edition.
Yeah, it's rad.
But we got another submission to read off, and then maybe let's see, Jared, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, sure, I can jump in.
All right, great.
Fantastic.
Folks, we got Jared Butler from Neotropolis, the organizer, who, sir, puts on one of the best
changed
things
our
I've ever
lives,
been to.
and that made me. I feel like I'm 10 years younger after going to.
Right.
I don't
You know what?
how.
10
Well,
years,
that's good,
10
'cause I
years
feel
younger.
10 years older.
Jules
Right?
is-
No,
Jules feels 10
I
years
bet.
older. I feel 10 years younger. It's some time.
I don't know. I feel like I was 10 years younger, but the sand and wind aged me 10 years, so it kind of evened out.
a little weathered.
By the way, I'm gonna just do one quick submission, and then we'll have a little quick chat with Jared here. But Sorcerer Avery, who is in the IRC chat, sent their little tribute, and I'm gonna read it out right now. Like so many others, I'm writing to remember and celebrate the life of Starcadian. First and foremost, I send my condolences, and my heart goes out to his family, friends, and loved ones. To my fellow fans, the grief we share is also the love that ties this community together, and I feel there is more of that love than ever before. When I discovered Starcadian's music, I knew my life had changed forever. I have synesthesia, which is a fancy way of saying I see colors when I hear music. When he performed in Wisconsin, I was able to gift him a book of digital paintings of his music, and he was kind enough to sign in a print of Ultra Love, my favorite song. He greeted me like an old friend that night, took me to talk to as many people as possible, and gave me the best hug of my entire life. That show was so incredibly special, and I will always remember that cold Kudehi night we all had. I think Lisa was at that one too. I'd like to sign off by thanking Starcadian for the music, the memories, and the kindness he showed me. I'd also like to give a shout out to my little sib across the pond, Nova. To Nova, Starcadian, Jules, and Dennis, and everyone that has ever been touched by Starcadian's artistry, let me communicate in these waveforms to the universe. We are radio.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I love some of these. They're just like
They're awesome.
very.
I'm gonna piggyback off that and say he's an amazing hugger because it is true.
Yeah.
Great guy.
He's an amazing hooker. What?
What?
I'm sorry. I was
Hugger.
Hugger. Oh my god. I was like, wait a minute. This is a whole new side of Starcadian.
No, that's the English accent coming through.
We were not expecting. Although you never know with George. I mean, you never know.
All right.
That kind of part.
So, on that note, let's jump over to Neotropolis,
Yeah,
where
let's
if
do
I
it.
remember well, there was somebody holding a sign for cyberpunk hookers,
yes,
like a little
yes.
menu. I remember passing that.
I
so
do.
It's
What?
it's quite the segue. But back to Starcadian. Look, seriously though, I think one of the threads we're hearing when people are talking about him is he was the kind of guy that a bunch of people have that story of they met him that one time and felt like they were suddenly old friends, and he had that effect on people.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't just an amazing musician, which we could talk all day about. He's an amazing human being. As we've talked about musically, he was one of those people. I have the honor and the pleasure to deal with a lot of artists and musicians that I admire. And one of the things about running a festival is I get to bring in people that I've always wanted to see live or that I want to just hang out with again. So I can talk if we have, I don't know how much time we got, but I can tell a little bit about how I
All the
first
time.
We have
got
all the
in touch
time
with
you
him
need,
and
yeah.
got to know him. So he sent me an email in 2023. So I certainly haven't known him as long as some others. We had been put in touch with some mutual friends, and he was interested in Neotropolis, and we quickly got on the phone and started talking. And of course, we talked for a while. and got to know each other. And I remember, because he was a visual guy, and my brother is a visual effects artist as well and visual effects supervisor.
Oh, nice.
So there was that connection too from his other work, and he really latched in on what I was trying to do with Neotropolis, which was, hey, I love this music. I've loved synth music my whole life, and obviously now I love synthwave, and I love all that stuff, and I love what you do. And I've been trying to create a kind of visual representation of what I see when I hear that music. That retro future, that cyberpunk world, and that's what Neotropolis is meant to be. So it's not just a music festival; it's kind of a live-in world. And he was really excited about that. And I remember him saying specifically that he had kind of lost some of his enthusiasm for playing live in the last few years. And part of it was, in his words, he was like, I'll play one of these venues and I'll have my whole outfit on and everything. I'll be doing the music. And then at the end of the day, I'm in a hotel ballroom, or I'm just in a nightclub or whatever. So he loved being able to be out in an environment that was kind of a fully immersive world that fit with the music, and so we bonded that way. And then obviously he came out to play, and it was amazing. And I remember hanging out that night, and it was the same thing. I mean, getting to introduce him to people that were either huge longtime fans that were so honored to meet him as George, not just as Starcadian, but also people that had no idea who he was without the mask on, and we're just having a great time with him. And we had all these plans for the future. So he had some scheduling issues for coming out this year, but he would have been there last month with us otherwise, and he was excited to come back in 2026. And I feel like I've lost one of the most exciting new friends I had in my life. We had so many things that we could have done together, and so that's part of the tragedy of it. But the beauty of it is, not every friend that we lose gives us a legacy of music, and other creative things to remind us of them. So I'm at least thankful for that.
Yeah, and I just want to I also just want to put a little underline with what you had said, because you spelled it out perfectly. I think the fact that there are so many people that just met him, so many people that have a conversation with him, but he's the type of guy that you will feel like you've known him forever, because he was so brutally honest, but he was nice, but he was also the type of guy that would not put on airs. That's I don't know if you know that term. It's I guess a New Jersey thing, but
no, everybody knows that term.
Okay, all right. It's sometimes I come out with phrases. People are like, "What are you talking about?" So he'll be himself, and he was genuinely interested with the people he was talking to. And I thought that was really amazing, because sometimes, you're in a room, you're having a conversation with somebody, and you could just tell they're not really engaging with you. They're just like, yeah, I got this other thing. But you get the feeling, just talking with him, that the time, even if it's just a couple minutes, the time that you do have to engage with him, you feel like he's there for you, and you have a connection. And he has a connection with so many people that he's met, and so many people from his Discord and people that he's engaged with online, that it's just incredible. And I think one of the things that I'm going to take away from him is to try to be that type of person myself, to just fully engage with people, even if it's just for a brief moment, be there for other people, and be there like he was there for us. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So,
you know what I like, Jared, you touched on something, because one of the last little stories we're going to read off that was submitted was somebody who was at Neotropolis last year, and they talk about bouncing around in the crowd watching somebody perform on stage next to Starcadian, and they get into a great conversation. They had no idea who he was until that set was done, and he's like, gotta perform, and he goes up on stage and their jaw dropped.
Yeah.
But we'll read that one out later. But yeah, he had that effect.
Can I seeing as you guys are touching on that as well, like it's not touched on enough, like how professional and magnificent his like live sets were as well. Like with the mask and everything, it was so meticulous that what he did.
And the launch pad, like
sets and
the stuff he does with the launch pad and everything.
Oh, with the pad as well. Like
I never saw him live. I just saw all the videos, and I'm like, how could I have missed this?
Yeah, it's incredible. Like I recorded him in the Underworld for Synthwave TV with his when he's just touching it, and he's just it's incredible. Like he knows everything, and his vocals as well. I remember him doing a sound check at Retro Future Festival, and it had to be just right. He was a concert, like always a professional person, and it had to be, and a perfectionist as well.
Yeah.
He didn't want anything half-assed. He wanted it done the right way. And, you know, he wouldn't have it any other way. He just wanted, you know, everyone to have a great time and just enjoy everything. Mm-hmm. And yeah, and that's why we're here today. So, yeah.
It's a celebration. Yes.
Yes.
I feel like I want, as I mentioned earlier, I want people to leave this show and feel better about themselves. And honestly, this was something that I feel like I needed to just get through. I knew it was going to be hard and awkward and hopefully wonderful and entertaining at the same time. But this is an important moment for me, and I know this is just an important moment for everyone that's listening. And hopefully, you know, his legacy is definitely going to be there, and you know, you never know where it's going to end up. You know, I saw, not to get too metaphysical or anything like that, but I think I sent this to you, Jules. It was like 2 days after we heard he passed. There was an article about, what was it, the radio galaxy? And it had a picture of this radio galaxy, and I swear it looked exactly like the Starcadian, you know, the image in the stars, you know, the with the eye and everything like that. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. So it's definitely going to manifest, but you know, it's just nice to have this moment where we can all get together and, you know, say our few things that we can say, you know, as well as we can.
I'm gonna do a quick shout out to Starfarer, who joined us in the IRC. We got to see him throw down at Neotropolis.
Yeah.
Once again, thanks to Jared.
Great.
You know what? One thing I noticed, Jared, you could tell the veteran performers at Neotropolis because they brought a show. They were also dressed properly.
Yeah.
But they knew how to get their visuals behind them, what kind of crowd they were playing to. They'd done it before. You know, I'm talking Knight Rider 87, Starfarer, and Megatronics. It was amazing to see them sort of, what's the word? Milk the crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, look. I mean, but to talk them up. I mean, they did that their first appearance there as well. They're just you know, great performers and professionals, and I, you know, I remember one of the things many things I'm disappointed about that I won't get to see, but I remember telling Starcadian, hey, we have a giant video screen now. So when you come back out, you know, we can do so many more of your visuals and everything.
Yeah.
But, you know, one of the things I loved, speaking about him being in the crowd, is what we get now that we've done this festival a few years in a row, and we're going to keep going. I mean, this is going to be an annual thing. I mean, speaking about how some of the other ones aren't able to keep going. As God is my witness, we are going to keep this going. And the number of performers from the synthwave scene, they all crowd at the front of the stage for each other. You know what I mean? They're all there watching each other. You know, so when George was there, he's there, you know, watching the other artists, and then they're all in the crowd for him. And it just, like, people don't tend to do their set and go home. You know, they all want to see everybody else, and then they hang out off stage as well. So, like, when you see some of the photos and video of our sets at the stage, it's so easy to spot all those familiar synthwave faces because they're in the first, like, one or two rows, and they're fucking with each other while they're on stage, like, you know, tapping each other on the head and hitting each other with things. And it's just such a great little family reunion each year.
Absolutely.
It is. You know what?
Trying to steal your laptop.
That also explains why, like, 70% of the people in our IRC chat when we're doing the show, they're just other producers.
Yeah.
It's one big happy
Well,
producer family.
Yeah,
it's great, and it spawns, it spawns collaborations as well.
Yes.
Just all the things I think about that, he would have been part of going forward. So it's just such a shame to lose him. He was a little part of our family. He was a part of the big synthwave, community family, like all of that, and it's just, it's tough.
Yeah. Now,
absolutely,
we're gonna play another song.
Yes.
This one might bring some.
Man, this one's gonna,
moistness
gonna
to
bring
folks'
the
eyes.
feels. Oh gosh.
So, but by the way, when he passed, I typed in Starcadian in Facebook just to see the posts and stuff. That's how I got some of these stories. But
right,
I came across a YouTube video some guy had made several years ago where he had theories about the lore, and he showed, there's a picture of a rock formation on Mars where there's a bunch of rocks and one of them looks like a mask.
Oh my god!
And that rock formation,
and that was supposed to be New Sidonia, wasn't it?
Well, it's called that rock formation is called Sidonia.
Yeah, or
Sidonia, and things that make you go
Yeah, we'll be ever debating it forever and ever.
All right,
it's all about.
So let's play the song. This is Starcadian with New Sidonia featuring Haley, right here. Oh, by the way, this is from the Midnight Signals album. So you're listening to it right here on Night Ride FM.
And that was New Sidonia by Starcadian featuring is it Haley or Haley?
Just Haley.
Haley. And who is Haley? We don't know. We'll never know. Will we ever know?
By the way,
it's a mystery.
We got to do a quick shout out to the Space Amoeba over on YouTube, as well as Elizabeth Finnegan.
Very good.
Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate that.
Shall we read another little submission story?
Oh, this one's a good one.
And then we got another Starcadian voice clip. But let's do this one. Jason Miller, Plastic Geek, who is in the IRC, writes, I first found Starcadian on YouTube around 2014 with the Heart music video. I was instantly on board with the John Williams-inspired orchestral tracks and cinematic feel to all of his music. In 2019, I made a tribute retro-style figure for Starcadian to show my appreciation for his work, and he encouraged me to make more. And I'm just going to sideline here. I bought one of those.
Sure.
I have a Starcadian action figure.
Where's mine?
eBay, maybe. We'll see. Jason continues, we started talking about shared interests and toys on and off over the years. As it often does, life caught up with me, and I never got back around to doing a proper run of the figures. Then last year in January, an insane opportunity to revisit the project came up. Starcadian was having a concert in Wisconsin, only an hour from me. But I only had a month to prepare any figures to sell at the show. Starcadian implored me to make figures to sell at the show, promising he would even sign them all to guarantee they would sell. That freezing January night, I was able to get together a small group of carded and loose figures, and as promised, he signed them all.
Wow.
I still remember when I told him I was there. He came out just dressed like a normal dude and gave me a huge hug. Even though we had never met before, it was like reuniting with an old friend. He was still setting up, but we had time to chat about the figures I brought, and some gifts I gave him. He was giving and down to earth, just a guy who happened to be insanely talented. After the show, we had more time to hang out and for me to thank him profusely. By this time, the figures had sold out, and we planned to do a proper run online later. This came to be my most successful sale ever, all because of his generosity and enthusiasm. His music means so much to me, but him as a person meant even more. He had so much in the pipeline, such a future, such a legacy. I hope we can hear what he was planning someday. I miss him and our goofy chats, but for now, he's back in the stars where he came from.
Oh, damn.
Thanks, Jason.
That's, whew. All right.
Yeah.
Need a second after that one. But
like Jared said, there's an underlying theme here.
There is. There's absolutely that you've met him and you love him, and I don't know anybody who's ever had any like off words to say about him that was like just all right. Okay, hold on.
You know what?
Give me a second.
I think we got a little lighthearted little clip we're gonna play. It's a very short one.
We need some.
But
we need some horns some cowbells or something to bring.
Yeah.
To
Back in August 2020, we kicked off our season 4 with Starcadian. And right off the bat, he knew how to come in and take our dumb dad jokes and elevate them to new heights.
Yeah.
So here he is talking about my squeaky chair. Go ahead and play this one, Dennis.
All right, here it is. This is from the season 4 premiere, Squeaky Chairs with Starcadian. You can find this on our website for the full interview, but this one's one of our favorites. Here it is. Let's hear it for Starcadian.
Woo!
What's going on, Starcadian? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm jealous of Jules's chair. I gotta say.
I love his chair. Man.
I'm not gonna lie. It kind of sounds like a sex chair. It's kind of weird.
It does. It does. I wasn't gonna say it, but since you mentioned it,
very ASMR. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, we could totally parlay the show and make it something different if you guys are into it.
I mean, I got a little bit of whiskey left. Yeah, we can definitely do that.
It might take a lot of whiskey, but I think we can. We might be able to pull it.
Lord.
We're already.
Well, that's a stellar start, people.
Yeah, we're already in the doghouse here. We gotta circumnavigate this these rough waters.
Hey, it's 2020. Cut him some slack.
Oh God! I mean, how can you not love? How can you not love that? Right off the bat, I think we went from sex chairs in like
ASMR.
zero to sex chairs in 0.5 seconds. Just incredible. But always with a joke. Always just a fun person to talk to, and not afraid to get a little,
No.
a little.
One of the things I was going to
wild,
mention a little bit later, is you always have to play that foul language warning in front of our
I
episodes.
forgot to play
especially when
it,
he was
yeah.
on.
I forgot to play it this episode, but we're keeping it pretty clean.
Yeah,
I think.
Somewhat. Shout out to Trio226.
Hey,
who join us in the YouTube chats.
nice.
We're gonna play a song,
Let's play a song.
and then I wanna get around back and ask Jared what maybe some of his favorite. I know it's really hard to say what's your favorite Starcadian song because that's a dumb question.
Yeah,
There's
we got to
so
do.
many.
Let's do
But
a
Jared,
round table.
You got a song to prepare.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, we're jumping over to the Midnight Signals album, and a lot of people have seen this video. This is one of my favorite videos. That after Dance or Die, I came across this video, and it's just so cool because you get to see him with his VFX mask in all its glory, and him dancing in his what do you call him?
His sex chair.
No. Anyways, here it is. This is Starcadian with Inner Space from Midnight Signals right here on Night Ride FM.
And there it is. That was Starcadian with Inner Space. That was the first song that I ever heard going over the Ben Franklin Bridge into Philly. And I was like, who the hell is this dude?
I need more.
I need more of this drug. Yeah, that was it. Very good.
So we're back with James and Jared. And I had asked James if he had a favorite song you wanted me to include tonight. James, I think it was you who told me Manual, right?
Yeah, manuals. From the deep cuts.
Right.
It keeps replaying. It doesn't matter like what phase I'm going through. There's different phases you go through of Starcadian. Where you're kind of like Midnight Signals, or is it Radio Galaxy? Or
1 month it's one month it's another.
and it just always keeps popping up all the time, and I just love manuals so much. And it has that intergalactic pop thing that he was going for the entire, and it just seems to like sum him up like all the time. So I always go back to that as
So I'm gonna turn this bright hot spotlight onto Jared now. Hope I gave you enough time to maybe pick a favorite song you like.
I mean, the list of songs you guys are playing tonight is like my Starcadian greatest hits list anyway. But Manuals is great. Ramswall's Shields is great. But honestly, I think the I don't know if it was the first Starcadian song I ever heard or it was one of the first, and it's an easy choice. But New Sidonia is just one of those songs that and there's not a lot of songs I would put in this category. I can't be in a bad mood and listen to that song.
Yeah.
It is
also
just
Jared. The lyrics as well are just absolutely incredible. Like
the whole thing. I mean,
like people don't understand how much of a lyric genius he was.
Yep.
He not only did he do amazing tunes, it was the lyrics as well. Like people don't really listen to the lyrics. It's incredible. Like
100%. He was just talented at everything. I mean, he was one of those artists, and there's nothing, this doesn't take away from any of the other artists, but he's a composer, I mean, he's a true composer. He could have been in being Greek too. Like I feel like he was sort of like a descendant of Giorgio Moroder, and he could have been if he wanted to just do movie soundtracks,
Midnight Signals, like some of those like soundtrack tracks.
Yeah. Just
I mean,
on the money.
Go ahead, Jared.
I was saying.
So he could have been a Hans Zimmer if he wanted to. You know what I mean? He had that kind of talent, but he was also so good at just creating, whether they're dance tracks or great vocal tracks or lyrics and doing the visuals. I mean, just sometimes one person has too much talent.
Ain't that the truth?
With you guys as well, like Cannibal Gods just sounds like a movie soundtrack or an entire movie.
That sounds like I've always equated it to. I don't even know how he pulled off the visuals that go on in my head, but it's like
that music video as well is absolutely nuts. It's just so epic.
Some of the references that he was talking about, I had to like just end up listening. Mr. Bungle was like one of his big influences, and he did, I think it was the last track or the second to last track on Radio Galaxy. I forget the name. I'm sure the chat will help us out. But it's just all over the place. He's like, this is like my Mr. Bungle tribute to that crazy, insane, the time signatures are just like way off the charts, and you just got to bob your head every which way to even keep up with the song. It's insane. But yeah, good stuff. Amazing.
We were supposed to have Faith in the Glitch on tonight, but as I said, he got his schedules mixed up because he's participating in some Twitch creators conference meeting thing.
Yeah,
because he's big on Twitch.
He's a big Twitch guy.
He was kind enough to send us along a little recording with a little story tribute. So, Dennis, why not kick this off? This is Faith in the Glitch from New York, talking about Starcadian.
All right, and here it is.
The first time I met Starcadian, I introduced myself as Faith in the Glitch, and he chuckled and was like, "Oh, you're the guy I keep finding when I search Starcadian on YouTube," because I had a bunch of DJ sets that I uploaded to YouTube. And then we had a little chuckle about SEO and search engine optimization. And then we had a couple of shots of Jameson. Pretty sure this was at St. Vitus Bar. When I saw him live in Brooklyn, I was enamored with his synths and controllers and asked him what it was. And that's when I found out about the Akai Force. During pre-COVID times, we were going to be doing a show together, Tokyo Rose, Primo, and Zarina, who organized the event. I was like, oh yeah, I'll get the Akai, and we can both be Force Bros. Sadly, that show didn't happen due to COVID things, but I did see him again and got to talk his ear off about it. Needless to say, talking to George about any kind of music technology was super easy and loads of fun. I got the ins and outs of the device, and I still use it for my live shows. The last time I saw him was at the Ollie Ride Parallels show, also in Brooklyn. For those that don't know me, try not to be shocked, but we got on the topic of DJing and turntablism and scratching, and he nonchalantly told me about his DJing and his knowledge of scratching. I was like, damn, this dude really can do everything. And I promised to teach him a little bit of scratching and to jam at some point. I remember when Ollie took the stage being torn about wanting to keep talking about music and gear, but like, I wanted to hear Ollie sing too. He was such a fucking cool guy. Amazing music, yes, but getting to chat with him, he really had a way of making you feel heard. Every time I bumped into him at a show, it was like talking to an old friend. Even if it had been a few months or even a year, it felt like no time had passed.
And there it is, just echoing, his story, of course, but also reverberating some of the stories that all of us have when you're talking to Starcadian, and the world can go on around you, and you're just talking to Starcadian. You're completely engaged, and that was just the type of guy.
The world could be burning down, and you're like completely engaged with George.
Ollie Ride, Elvis Presley, Prince could have been on the stage. I would have been like, so Starcadian, how were what time did you come over from Greece? Like just shooting the shit and just loving every minute of it. So thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
That was
Faith in the
nice.
Glitch is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we're gonna read off a couple of submissions and play another track.
Yes.
Gotta keep this thing moving.
Keep the train going.
So we got a submission here from Infamy, aka Ryan, who's in the IRC chats. And he says, Starcadian's music was my go-to on those bad days we all have. His music got me through the rough spots after I got out of the army and the days long after it. It was the vibe with George. It hit different and made me go to places where I felt at peace. I didn't just lose a synth writer. I lost one of my main coping devices. I lost a part of me. George was the nicest and most humble guy you could ever meet. The synth fam didn't just lose a friend or part of our tight-knit family, it lost a part of its soul, and that's what makes the hurt so much worse. To the stars, George. The world is smaller without you, but the cosmos you are riding just got so much bigger.
Yeah, very well put. Thank you, Ryan. Do we want to do...
one more. Short one.
Okay.
We got the one from Shelby, who says, I only got to see Starcadian live once. I had flown into London on a red-eye and found out he was at a show that night. I got in just in time to make it to the venue, and even though I had been awake for 24 hours straight, at that point, it was an incredible night. Rest in peace. Heart emoji.
Heart emoji. Very
Yeah.
good. All right.
Quick shout out to, what is it? Ruth Kill,
Yay.
who just joined us in the IRC.
Very nice. Very
Oh,
nice.
and also to Nick V, who is over in the YouTubes.
Very good. Very good.
Nick was at Neotropolis.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Mhm.
It's like, I feel like everyone that we meet nowadays is going to have like some sort of like, it's going to like always circle back to Neotropolis. It's like back then it was like everything was circling around.
Jared is building something that's gonna
Yeah.
it's gonna turn into like 10,000 people one day.
Yeah. I love these festivals.
Actually, Jared, is that even possible? Is there a limit out there in the desert to how many people you can have? Because it seems like it's a wide open space.
Well, we do own the property, and we own quite a bit of it. So technically, yes, we could We could get much, much larger than we currently are. Whether we want to and how fast we want to do it is a separate question.
Yeah. I mean,
Plus, I
Paris
guess-
is after 1 million people.
yeah, you could build it in a week, no problem.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah, I won't say exactly where we would top out at if we had to top out, but we could probably we could easily do over 10,000.
Bigger,
Jesus.
better,
Can you
faster,
imagine?
Not
stronger.
that. Well, I say easily in terms of the space. There's nothing easy about it. But
Right,
But we won't go that big anytime soon. The feel that people have for the festival, they don't need to worry about it. We're going to grow slowly.
So
And I love it.
you don't need a Mega Block 2.
We need it to be like Limp Bizkit at Lollapalooza.
No. Yeah, we're not burning our beds. That's for the other one. Wasteland Weekend. You put all the fire, setting, the flames and the
I'm here for the gasoline.
not the anger, but just the flames. I guess.
Yes.
That's the imagery. I don't know what I'm saying at this point.
All right, let's play a track.
Yes.
All right, so we're jumping into the Deep Cuts album here. And one of my favorite alternate versions off the Deep Cuts is this one. This is Starcadian with Famous, right here on Night Ride FM.
And that was Famous right there by, of course, Starcadian. And my biggest moment of embarrassment was when I originally called it FAMS right in the interview. And yeah, I was just like, but you know, it's one of them things where, you know, he was so cryptic, you know, it's hard to, you know, especially throwing a vowel in there. I'm like, I can't read, first of all. Like, and then
It's a consonant, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I can't even tell if it's it's a vowel when Jules,
Anyways,
let's move on to our next.
We are live.
What's a vowel?
If
I don't
you
even
can't tell.
Yeah.
I want to remind everyone, we are here with Jared from Neotropolis, as well as James, all the way from the Retro Future Fest, right?
Yeah, that's
and
correct.
we are now joined by Rob O'Neill,
Yes.
who worked with George, not only, I guess, during the day at work, but a lot of the music videos you had a hand in as well, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I was lucky to have known George and Starcadian for a long time. And, you know, it's been an honor to get to, you know, work with him in many different capacities and also just be his friend and to sort of be on this journey of, you know, focusing in my world more on the film and video side of things, and that's kind of where my heart is, and no pun intended, but like the thing, you know, the music side was always the thing that got me really motivated, and that's kind of how it all started. Was one day just kind of, we were packing up an office together, and he said, "Hey, let me play you a track, something I'm playing with," and kind of blew my mind, and that, you know, that kind of kicked us off.
I remember him telling me because what we were doing was we were kind of like going over, you know, when you first met Starcadian, whenever you first met George, and then of course, you know, a story that you can share. I'm sure you have more than your share of great stories, but I'll let you mention how you first met. What was the first time that you had met him, and you know, what was that scenario like?
Yeah, I mean, that gets pretty deep into his past, but it was when we were both at Pratt Institute in various capacities, and you know, he was just someone who was super smart, super talented, big personality, and really just kind of, you know, lit up the room is not the right, but he sort of blew up a room with his energy and his creativity, and right then and there, you know, I just knew that this was someone that was, you know, kind of onto something, and you know, we were close in age. I was doing some teaching. He was a student in the graduate program, but yeah, I mean, it was just a fun intersection, and then it sort of spun off into the sort of a, you know, just many different paths where we worked together and sort of collaborated on different things from there.
Yeah, it's hard to hear an interview with Starcadian without your name being mentioned. So I feel like I've known you so many years, and it is a pleasure to finally get to speak with you one-on-one, because I know that you guys were very close and creative partners. And
Yeah.
one of the biggest things that I would love to find out a little bit more about is just the bonkers, over-the-top video that you guys put together for Freak Night, and how
that is
crazy
the next track we're going to play after we read off some submissions. But
all
go
right,
on.
so
Dennis.
should we? Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Let me read off a couple of some stories.
Then
that
we'll
folks sent
lead
in.
into Freak Night, because that is insane.
I think everybody was blown away by that mini movie.
So put a pin on that, and
put a pin in that. All right. So the first one I'm going to read off, it's from Charlie and the Wolf. And he says, I never had the privilege of meeting him or seeing him live in concert, but Starcadian was one of my biggest heroes since childhood. His music raised me and provided me comfort when nothing else could. In a way, he felt like a father to me. His lyrics and posts encouraged me to keep going and chasing my dreams regardless of what I had to face. I'm standing here now and being accepted into Texas A&M University to train to be an astronaut because of him.
Nice.
His name will be carved amongst the stars. Rest in peace, legend. Heart emoji.
Amazing.
So,
That's amazing.
This guy, George, had an effect. So, I got another one here from Cronil, who says, I discovered Starcadian during the early days of lockdown in a random Spotify playlist. His music reignited my desire to make music of my own. I released my first track a year later, and after that, got his logo tattooed on my right leg.
Oh, wow.
He was always willing to have a conversation via Instagram and actually helped me pick out my first hard synth, a Korg Minilog XD. Seeing him in Milwaukee will go down as one of the coolest shows I've ever attended. You'll be missed, Starcadian, but thank you for all the inspiration and community you created.
Wonderful.
Right. That tattoo. I think I've seen several Starcadia tattoos on people throughout social media.
There's definitely a few. All right.
So that leads us to this little production.
Just epic proportions, this guy. So we're going to circle back, to talk about
Freak Night.
Freak Night.
Rob.
What?
So this was easy to make, right?
How?
No problem.
How? What? How?
This was the epitome of just sort of saying, what's our dream? You know, like we had made a couple of videos that were using literal shoestrings in the past. And then we said, how do we go big? And, you know, how do we call in every favor, every trick, and just push it to the point where we knew the next step would be something even bigger than this. But, you know, this was just a chance to just go wild. And I sort of called in every favor and every connection I had made since living in LA. And people were just super excited. They heard the track. They were like, yeah, I'm in. Puppets? Yes. Like Thriller, Labyrinth, like, you know, you name it, like all of those references. And we had a blast. And we shot the whole thing in 2 days, just, you know, it was.
You shot that in 2 days? Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah. I would actually say it was more like a day and a half, one long day, and then a kind of a long half day, as film productions go. But yeah, just amazing.
Where did the puppets come from?
Place called Russell Effects. Shout out to them. Look them up. They do amazing work, and they are friends and, part of the Starcadian family at this point of creatives, and they're amazing. And, you know, massive shout out to them, because I went in with this kind of question of could we do puppets, and they kind of taught me what that would mean, and they just brought it, and they went above and beyond, you know, what we thought was even possible. We came in and puppeteered. I'll be honest, Starcadian himself puppeteers a couple of things in that video. Of course he did.
What?
Because of course he wasn't going to miss the chance to do it. And but I'll just say, like, you know, the thing that still, from a sort of process standpoint, still brings a tear to my eye is that moment where everything had aligned, and we were looking through the camera with the crew and everyone, and we had literal puppets looking amazing with all that neon, and it just looked perfect. We knew we were really doing something special as one of the first shots. And yeah, I still think about it to this day and get chills.
You're fortunate to be able to have created something like that and did it with George too. But like the end result is incredible.
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
I actually
the shots of the camera like looking at the stage with like Starcadian playing.
Oh my god, him bopping
and
left
then all
and right.
the puppets in the crowd. It's like, and then you've got that neon around it. It's like it's the perfect like cinematography.
It's like a puppet nightclub.
And not only the puppets though, I do definitely need to give him credit. The animation for his mouth was all done by hand, and I can't even imagine the amount of time that it took him to animate.
Hey, if he's doing Mark Wahlberg's face in a sex scene,
that's true.
That might even be easier. I think he can do that.
Might even be easier than animating that mouth, because I mean it's just a face.
I mean, have you not seen the uncensored version with Mark Wahlberg's face on Freak Night?
No, we don't want to. All right, you know what? Let's play the track.
Yeah.
From the album Deep Cuts, this is Starcadian with Freak Night, the single mix remastered, right here on Night Ride FM.
And that was Freak Night by Starcadian, the single mix remaster.
Bouncing left and right in my chair. I remember I did several videos when my friend, Ashley, Forged in Neon, came to visit us in Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
My friend Andrew and I would always pick her up in his car at the airport, and then we'd record a video of us bopping left and right to Freak Night.
Yeah. This was the song you let your hair down because it was just a fun video. You know?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and there were so many other cool videos that I know, Rob, that you were a part of. Just so many, like
just one or two.
Heart. I know you were talking a bit off the air about Heart and how that was the little video. What did you say? The little video that could?
Yeah, totally. Like, that was one. Actually, shot the plates of me in the cockpit in my garage. It was one of these weird things where we were talking about, we had an idea for a video, and all of a sudden someone at the place where I was working was selling a prop cockpit that they had made for a photo shoot.
Wow.
Sent pictures over, and we were like, that's it. And so all of a sudden this thing's in my garage, and we're just, shooting plates, figuring it out. And, a few months later at South by Southwest, premiering it on stage with the Daniels and all these amazing music video creators. And they ended up taking that video on the road for South by Southwest because they loved it so much, just as like kind of their best of for a few years. And they just loved it as kind of the middle of the sort of program, because it would just chill everybody out. It's kind of like a restart. I still love it. I watch it often. Like it's.
I had no idea that was you in the astronaut helmet.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's me pushing buttons, looking at stuff. Like I still got the helmet right here. I got the floppy disk. I have all the cockpit is long gone. It's on another.
Wait, you have that floppy?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay. That's cool.
Do not put that on Discogs.
That's iconic.
Yeah, I know. I've been looking at it the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
and,
I bet.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's sort of a totem.
We had a hard time.
Rob, by the way, as well. Like, I remember when George, me and him had a chat a few years ago as well. When I met him, we had a talk about New Sidonia as well, and I was like, "Oh, it's such an amazing, epic set and things." And he was like, "Yeah, I shot that in my kitchen." I always remember that. I was like, "How did you?" And he was like, "Yeah, just visual effects." And I was like, "It's such an epic video," and that just goes like a testament to him and his skills as well. I was like, "Wow!" He's just like, "Yeah, that was in my kitchen."
Yeah.
I was like, "What?"
Yeah. I mean, that's always been the goal. Is like, how do you do a lot with a little, and how do you kind of create something cinematic? That's like the thing where he and I connected in those early days, is just like, how do you sort of make magic with what you have, and just really make something cinematic, make something that feels big.
It's incredible.
People in the chat.
No, but it's just insane to be like that sort of lighting. Everything, like as a person who deals with film as well, it's incredible to make something out of nothing. Like it just baffles me sometimes on like a limited budget like he had. He doesn't like put that much into anything. It's not like $1 million project. He's just or like even a few thousand. He's just he deals with what he has, and it's fantastic.
Totally. That was the story of the Heart video, is that I think we spent about $200 total on it, just scrapping things together and just doing it ourselves, just shooting and then so just sweat equity, putting into just doing the VFX and the design, and I mean, it's all about the design of it, like going in with a plan and just trying to execute at a high level. Yeah.
The folks, when I mentioned that floppy disk, folks in the chat went a little bit nuts. And, so someone said Starcadian is now trapped in that floppy disk. So Rob, you are the keeper now.
I put that visual.
Floppy safe.
I did put that visual out there. I had a really hard time coming up with we have like traditional visuals that we do, just like a graphic that goes in the podcast and everything like that. And I'm like, what are you going to do with this type of episode? And Jules had put together this little sizzle reel, and the very final scene of the floppy disk flying away. I'm like, man, it's sad, but it's also touching, and it's also, it's meaningful. And I hope I didn't put that whole idea forth but in a way it kind of is. He's drifting off into the stars, and it's touching and meaningful, and the imagery around just that floppy disk is it just says so much. And the fact that he did all this as an independent artist, I just find amazing. He's getting accolades by Southwest, and he's getting all these, but he just wanted to, I don't know him, as much as you do, Rob, but I know he was indie to the core. I feel like he was.
He said so on some of our interviews. His opinions about labels.
And he stayed in it because that gave him the most amount of creative control, where he could have had that big that big budget money, but it was about him making these things just the way he wanted to, without compromise, to tell his story, and that's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
Can I segue in for Rob a second, if possible? Yeah. For the me and the guys, we got we had a talk earlier about the fact that Starcadian may have quite new stuff that he had in the pipeline. What are your views on? Like, I think because he was a professional, like he was professional. It is a hard question. He is constantly professional. He's critical about all of his work. What are your views on anything been released that unreleased right now? Would you like to see it released, or should it stay buried, basically, Rob?
We're definitely talking about all of that. We know how close everything was. There's still some work to do, but he worked so incredibly hard to bring things to life, and as you guys said, independent, right? Yeah. There's no big production company or producing team behind it. It was him, applying his amazing creativity to that work, and it does exist, and we're all hoping that it will come to light. So that's all I can say right now.
That's hopeful,
is that we're excited, and I know he had even posted about it, a few months ago, saying that how excited
I saw that, but I also saw the fact that he's very critical of his work with the Spotify thing. I remember there was one year where he was like, "Thank you very much for the Spotify posts." I can't remember. It was 2 years ago or something. He was like,
Spotify.
It doesn't matter how well you've listened to my music. I've listened to it more than you because I am critical about everything that I listen to. I don't know. It's very much I don't know. Is it going to be released? Would you think it would be a demo form, or is someone going to finalize his stuff?
I guess that's
I think
discussed.
We're gonna have to look at it. I mean, it's almost like a track by track kind of thing, and he was incredibly critical, and that's why the music videos look as good as they do, is because he was critical frame by frame, and I think he treated the albums the same way, beat by beat. And I would get early demos of tracks, and they sounded great, and he would just shake his head at them, and then I'd get another version 2 days later, and it would just be so much more rich, fuller, better, layered.
He had his vision, I guess.
And so who knows? We'll have to kind of see the shape it takes, but there is more magic to come.
That's hopeful. Well, that is.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read out another submission.
Yes.
And we'll play another song. So I got the submission from Elizabeth, who I believe is in one of the chats, I hope. that's the same Elizabeth, but she says, for the last 4 years, Starcadian has kept me company on runs, through sewing projects, course deadlines, and tube journeys. So I'm guessing all right. British, because nobody says tube in North America.
Oh, yeah.
He's been a travel buddy and a writing partner. His music has been a familiar, comforting constant throughout my degree and through some of the most challenging moments of my life. So whilst I don't know George personally, I still feel his loss like that of a friend. Synthwave as a whole is such an optimistic and hopeful genre, full of silly, poignant stories that are reminiscent of the futurism of the 1960s and the sounds of the sci-fi boom of the 1980s. Starcadian really captured what's at the heart of the genre and will be sorely missed.
Yeah, for sure.
So true. Yeah. So with that, we're going to jump into James, your selection tonight.
Ooh. Yeah.
So we're
Oh,
still
Manuals.
we're still on the Deep Cuts album.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Rob, you weren't here before, but I always, as much as I love, like I started off with Chinatown, which was my kind of like gateway into Starcadian back in the synthwave when I really started loving synthwave. But I always keep jumping back to Manuals. It seems to be like this sort of intergalactic. It just makes me feel good every time I hear it.
Totally.
From the Deep Cuts album. And I don't know, it just brings something out of me. I just really, really enjoy it. And I think it's one of the gateways as well. Like if you play it to someone who's not really a fan of this sort of music, they just get into it immediately. And and I hope that everybody enjoys it.
Yeah. Well, let's play it. Here it is, Starcadian with Manuals from the Deep Cuts album right here on Night Ride FM.
Everybody's ready to fly.
once again, that was Manuals. I feel like I shouldn't say by Starcadian because, you know.
Who else? By the way, I got to do a shout out to Bird is the Word, who joined us in the IRC chat.
Bird is the word.
We're going to read off a story from Bird is the Word at the end of the show.
Yeah.
So, thanks for coming in and joining. We are going to ask Rob a little question that we were talking about behind this track. But before we do that, we did have another clip of George on one of our interviews that we were going to play. And it kind of touches on what we were talking about behind that last track, Manuals.
Yeah.
Which is, he did have opinions about art and about social media. Because I think we were talking.
He had a lot of opinions.
Yeah, he did. And he wasn't shy to share them, especially after a couple of Akashi whiskeys.
He was not.
But I got this one. It's actually this was on our marathon show we had with him, 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah.
And we were deep into the Akashi whiskey by now. But anyways, I just want to line this up. George was socially, politically, and eco-conscious, and even deep into his Akashi whiskey, he had some pearls of wisdom for us denizens of Earth regarding social media and art. And here he is dropping a knowledge bomb. So this is him talking about art and the quilt. Go ahead, Dennis, play it.
I think entertainment has turned into a toxic wasteland of trying to top an overly congested field, rather than, you're probably not going to be rich, you're probably not going to be famous before you die, chances are, but you can leave something that will change art. That's the fucking point. That's the only point of art. That you make something that will contribute to this big quilt that is art, and people can stand on your shoulders if your work is giant enough. And that is pure luck, circumstance, and, isn't it? That's all that art is. You're just contributing to a quilt.
And there it is. Quilt and the quilt right there. Yeah. That was definitely...
Art should be contributing to the quilt.
That was a lot of whiskeys in, but he always...
Yeah, dude. I had to be selective on what I cut out there because we were ranting about social media and politics and things like that. I was like, I like the art contributing to the quilt bit.
Yeah, let's bring it back to the art. That was the great thing, though. He was very opinionated, and he did have a lot to say about everything, but he was an incredibly intelligent person who had, when people have an opinion on things, sometimes a lot of it's like something that you hear from someone else or that you might read, and that might influence your opinion. I feel like a lot of the things that he had to say really came after a lot of thought, and I feel like him, even 5 whiskeys in, like I remember being at that interview and just hanging on every word that he says, and that's not really trying to I'm not trying to like make him into this this iconic thing, even though he was, but he really did. He had an effect on people because, again, I believe he really spoke not for other people, not through, by other people. Like, he really was his own person, and I think that really was the thing that shined through. And I feel like that's the thing when people meet him, even if it was for a brief encounter, that they do feel like they saw the real him because he let that shine through. So very, very poignant thoughts.
I want to circle back now. To Jared. You had asked Rob a question behind that Manuals track, and it touched on what we were talking about earlier in the show about people's perception of George.
So what we were talking about is that he was such a humble guy, but at the same time he was so revered, especially within the scene, as a musician and as an artist. And I think even among his peers, sort of like what they would say, like a musician's musician. And I think, I don't think anybody thought he necessarily thought of himself that way, but I just was wondering, if he ever was able to take that in, if he ever really got to feel how much people admired his work, even among his peers.
Yeah, and as I said, like, I think it's a great question, and I think as I sort of think about it, I think George was someone who was always really trying to move forward, and I think he appreciated when people reached out and said how much of an influence he was, but I don't think he ever let that. He never sat on that. I think he was always just sort of trying to get to the next level, to get to the next, sort of milestone. As we said, he was very critical of his work. He just wanted it to be better. But he also took time, and you'll see it on like chats and message boards. He would help people with like technical issues with their synth setups. He would recommend gear. He would, help troubleshoot things. And he really just wanted everyone to be able to make what they wanted to make, and to, sort of be part of that creative sort of network or web that was out there, in no matter what it was. And I think that applied to his music, of course, but, even folks that worked with him on the day-to-day, he was just like someone who was always trying to help people get to the next level, or solve their creative problem, or just make the thing that they wanted to make. And I think that that's really what drove him. And, in terms of, his impact, I think it's something that all artists kind of struggle with, to know, like, have I reached something? Have I reached people in a way that's meaningful? And, I don't think he ever really spent a lot of time thinking about it, but, I know he always appreciated the feedback and just wanted to make the next thing.
Yeah, and his whole indie ethos that he had, and maybe he's talked about it more in interviews that I haven't heard. But was it just kind of who he was at his core, or was there a bad experience that he had early on with bigger labels and all that made him want to be that way, or it was just kind of who he was and all he ever wanted?
I think it's who he was. I think he loved the creative control. I think he knew what he needed to do. He was incredible. Like, these albums don't sound like he made them himself. You know what I mean? Like, he knew how to do this. And the same goes for the videos. He knew what he wanted from them. And when we sat down and started jotting, the creative energy around the idea was so strong that, we kind of knew where to go. And so, yeah, I don't think he ever thought that, a bigger structure would help, like, I mean, we even talked about even bigger sort of video productions that, wouldn't even scale to the size of, where you think the budget would need to go. And we were just like, oh, if we just had X, we could do this whole thing, and so that independence, I think, just, he knew that it meant that he could keep on working with the folks he wanted to work with, and just make what he wanted to make. And, there's ups and downs and, downsides to that too. But in the end, every album you hear, every video you've seen, it's his fingerprints. And I think that as an independent artist is where the real sort of power is.
Yeah.
That kind of leads me to this next submission I'm going to read, because it talks about somebody who helped organize one of the performances he did, or one of the shows he did with Immortal Girlfriend in Milwaukee.
Oh, right.
And their interactions with him. So,
yeah,
I snagged this one off Facebook. I got permission from Jake Bissell to read this off because I thought it was so cool. So he writes, rest in peace, Starcadian. I had the absolute pleasure of working with Starcadian on a live show I produced in Milwaukee featuring local band Immortal Girlfriend and Starcadian. He has been one of my favorite artists since I discovered Inner Space many years ago. He became an idol. When I started producing a show with the concept of having real lightning on stage with the artists and played by the artists, I never would have thought I'd end up getting Starcadian to fly out to Milwaukee to play.
Tesla coils.
That's he was as cool in person as he is in all of his work. He was funny as shit, too. We shared in anxieties of wanting the show to go well and make it memorable for everyone. I remember driving him back to his hotel after we had just had a post-show dinner and asking him what made him trust I could pull off the idea and not make him look bad. He said, dude, I was trying to make myself not look bad. I figured you got this, and I didn't want to let you guys down with how much work you're putting in.
Wow.
He definitely said it a bit more eloquently, but for the life of me, I can't remember exactly. I just know it resonated with me a lot, and I can't express how much of a confidence booster this was. That even someone I felt was incredibly talented, confident, and experienced was still human, was still as anxious and stressed out about doing their best. He was laser focused all through the rehearsal, but was still managing to crack jokes left to right. He had a lot of Arcadianisms, like please don't feed me garbage or you'll get Barfcadian on stage for the night. As well as be sure to shoot me from a good angle because I don't want everyone to see Boobcadian. He had a billion jokes, and I was so stressed leading up to the show. I can't remember them all, which is frankly really sad. I was hoping and excitedly awaiting for an opportunity to work with him again, especially when his new album dropped. It would have been incredibly fulfilling to direct a Starcadian music video. I still don't know if it's proper to say your real name, but it seems suiting now because of one of the last things we talked about was him dropping the mask and showing his real face on stage because he felt the world needed more real heroes and less fictional ones. Dennis, you and I remember we talked to him about that.
We had that very same discussion, yeah.
So he continues, George, aka Starcadian, you are an awesome guy, and I'm glad to have gotten to know you a bit and work with you. Rest in peace, dude.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
That was the thing, too. He wanted to lose the mask and become human again. Or not again, but, you know.
I think Jake said it well. I think he needed... The folks needed more real people to look up to versus a fictional character, maybe.
Yeah. Very cool.
But time for another track.
Yes.
We are slowly creeping towards the end here.
We are.
So if we can bang out a couple more, we will close in on the end. So this one comes from the Deep Cuts album as well, and I think can't remember if it was James you mentioning that Ramps, Walls, and Shields was one of your favorites.
Oh no, it's Manuals, but I think that one
was Jared, I believe.
Oh, Jared then.
Yeah, Jared, yeah.
Because I do remember when this song came out, it was to promote Fortnite and a certain Twitch streamer.
Yeah,
but of course
we don't talk about the disrespect.
The name, that certain Twitch personality. But George removed the vocal version after some disturbing news came out about said streamer. But we still have the instrumental, which is just still incredible.
It's a banger.
Maybe more so. So let's hear it. This is Starcadian with Ramps, Walls, Shields, the instrumental right here on Night Ride FM.
And that was Ramps, Walls, Shields by Starcadian.
What a track.
I love it.
He had tracks that were slow and emotional. He had those soundtrack style tracks. He had those tracks that would favorites like this, Ramps, Walls, Shields, Ultra Love, that were epic.
Yeah. It's amazing stuff.
All right, I'm gonna read off some submissions.
Yes.
We're gonna try and get this through
my
because
God,
also
we
we have guests who have lives.
Yeah.
Next submission from our buddy Griff, all the way down under.
Yeah,
G'day. So he says, such a massive loss to the scene. I started out as a listener, which turned into obsession over his sounds, his production, his aesthetic, and his vision. Midnight Signals and Radio Galaxy weren't just albums, they transcended that and became experiences. There will be no other like Starcadian. Rest in peace. Very true. And I got another one. We've got Labyrinthine Complexities in the chat, aka Lisa, so I'm going to read off hers. She was one of the lucky ones to go see the show in Kudehi, where it was like, minus 6 degrees Fahrenheit or something?
Wow, that
Anyways,
sounds cold.
I'll read this off. I'll never forget the first time I heard the entirety of Midnight Signals. I was transported across galaxies and dimensions. Something stirred within. It became a mission to transcend time and space to see this Starcadian. Luck would favor us in January 2024 as we descended across the Midwest tundra to a minus 6 degrees Kudehi, Wisconsin. Dresden Castle dripped in neon fog while giant Tesla coils synced to the love beats as this red-hooded sneakerhead controlled the room. It was magnificent. We swayed in unison as they sliced through their discography, teasing, taunting, dance or die. One of my favorite memories was Starcadian stalking a person in full Starcadian cosplay. A picture worth 1,000 giggles. Afterwards, George took the time to meet as many of us as he could, some with a mask, some without. He was humble, and he had the best energy, a smile as bright as 1,000 suns. When I heard the news, I was in disbelief. I've cried every day since. All we have are these songs and memories etched in time on our hearts. A reminder to love above all else. Keep looking to the sky, keep spinning the magical, healing ear movies.
Oh, yeah. Right on.
Love that.
Well said.
So, shall we blast another song?
Let's blast another song.
Because
And
we were talking about this one earlier.
this is
'Cause
one of my favorites right here.
Yes, I love this. I spin this when I do DJ sets.
Oh, should we talk about real quick with Rob about
so Galactic Booty Shaker,
the Galactic Booty Shaker himself.
We've got Rob O'Neill with us, and I don't know if folks know, but Rob, go ahead, tell them.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a secret, but I'm on Radio Galaxy. I'm the DJ, the intergalactic DJ. It's on between some of the tracks, and it was a blast to do that.
Telling us to wiggle our space junk.
Right.
I love it.
Yep.
I just recorded a ton of stuff, so there's a million outtakes of other crazy things that we didn't use. But it was a blast, and of course, the production around it to just make it sound so far off, and all the little effects and stuff. Like it cracks me up still to this day. And my kids will say those things to me sometimes when they come on in the car, and makes me smile.
That's
all right.
So crazy.
Let's play it then, because this track is also catchy as hell.
Oh yeah.
I remember when this album came out, right off the bat, this song was the first one to jump out, and I couldn't help but sing along.
Yes.
Smash. What is it? Smash reply. Don't forget to subscribe.
That's it. And again, he was he always had something to say, and he had his opinions, and a lot of the stuff that he has said is I feel like it's just right on the money where we are, and the expression of this song is definitely
I just picture some famous TikToker who puts out stupid videos bopping along to this song, not really listening to the lyrics,
not really understanding that it's kind of about them a little bit.
All right, let's play it. Here we are from the album Radio Galaxy. This is Starcadian with Propaganda. right here on Night Ride FM.
We have traveled through time. Your current paradigm will break down. Down, down, down. In 12 years, all your currency will be followed and amateur porn. All nations are online. You will all be assigned a URL. Of the internet will battle for influence and likes. Only those who survive until they're 25 will return. Many will burn. I've used all my outrage points to reach you before it's too late. In a year or two, you must stop the review that starts it all. Art will fall.
I sure could use a little to make me feel alright. You play me like a fiddle, though I'm so big mistake. I really need to hear some to make it through the day. The new reality's a scandal. Give me that propaganda.
Smash, reply. Don't forget to subscribe. 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 Smash, reply. Don't forget to subscribe.
I sure could use a little to make me feel alright. You play me like a fiddle, though I'm so big mistake. I really need to hear some to make it through all day. The new reality's a scandal. Give me that propaganda.
face. I got a broken record, a broken ship, and a couple of broken hearts. But this music is going to steer us through the heart nebula and into your brain.
Wow.
This next one goes out to all the intergalactic booty shakers. Jiggle that space junk. That's your cue to play the record. Play the record.
All right, 1 second here. I have to just circle back. That last 30 seconds when you're doing the booty shaker, the intergalactic booty shaker, like there was so much packed into that 30 seconds. And even like it's absolutely insane. The part where he says play the record and then like there's like it almost sounds like an animal or something like.
Yeah. It's supposed to be like a sort of a creature that's sort of, working with me in my space DJ radio station. We had sketches for what that guy looked like too. That was going to be sort of a recurring character.
Just this alien DJ that just communicates with grunts and.
Yeah, exactly. Sort of
Oh my God. Just that 30 seconds of that is just.
It always I don't care how many times I listen to the song. It always catches me off guard when I'm listening to Spotify on the subway or something. And you think the song's done, and even though you've heard this song a million times,
right?
Rob's voice coming on.
It's so abrupt and just changes the entire pace of the track. It's just it's crazy.
So I'm going to read some more submissions here.
Yeah, run them
We
down.
are getting to the end. We are approaching the end.
Marathon.
I forgot to say, though, Jared, Damian Jackson was in the YouTubes earlier. We know that. But I think he checked out because what time is it, James, in the UK?
It is 2 o'clock in the morning.
2 o'clock, so he checked out. But he wanted to give you a big thanks for helping him get down to Neotropolis so he could experience that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was great to have him there and meet him. And no, that was fantastic.
He's a bit of synth royalty, so it was cool for the rest of us, too.
Yeah, absolutely. He was having fun, too, and that's important. I think
that's the important thing.
Everybody had fun. But yeah, I digress. Yes, more submissions, Dennis, Jules. Yes.
You can read the first one here because it's a short one.
I can read. Okay, so this is by a submission from Nas.
This is the one above it.
This is why you never bring me places because I can't figure things. All right, hang on. Night Flyer. Okay, back in 2016, Starcadian. Did I say Night Flyer? All right, I failed already. Night Flyer says, back in 2016, Starcadian's track First Kill absolutely blew my mind. The mix of classic hip-hop, heavy electronics, and classic dance pop tracks created the perfect mashup. Starcadian was a talent and will be missed. All right. You want me to read the other one?
I can do it or you can do it. It's up to you.
All right. I'm going to try it.
Nice.
I know how to read words. Nas says, I'd love to remember the exact moment when I was introduced to Starcadian's music. I just remember it being around the start of 2014. I was in a bad spot. My car had just died. I was working a job that I hated. The only outlets I really had for the crap feelings were music and games. I just started playing WildStar, a game that was sadly shut down in 2018, and was putting together a playlist of my character. Chinatown randomly came up in my recommendations, and my mind was instantly blown. I'd only just started listening to synthwave, but Starcadian was unlike anything else I'd ever heard before. And from that point on, he became a pretty integral influence to me and pretty much everything that I did creatively. I know I gotta keep this brief, so I won't yap more, but I wish I could thank him personally for all the inspiration and the support his music has given me throughout the years and the times when I really needed it. You were the realest of the real ones, George. Very nice.
And Nas is in the IRC chat, so thank you, Nas, for sending that in.
Yeah, very nice. All right, so where are we at here?
Song.
Let's play a song.
We're approaching Serena's submission, so let's play a song first.
We are approaching Serena territory.
Now, this song had a cool video, Satellites.
This was cool.
And wasn't George was visiting, I think I heard on an interview somewhere, he was visiting family in Dubai. and
Probably in Greece, right?
no, I remember he was in Dubai to actually go see family. I don't know if it was his mom or not. It was probably someone else, but because he was walking in the sand dunes where he got the idea for the video for this.
Yeah, something to do with his dad. I remember.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like a homage type of thing, or something. I don't know. Listen back to the interview, everyone, and you could inform me.
Well, anyways, let's play it. From the album Radio Galaxy, this is Starcadian with Satellites featuring Iconoclasm right here on Night Ride FM.
I'm dying inside.
And there it is. That is Satellites. And we were just talking about the fact that that robot was CGI. Incredible stuff.
It led us also into, I was talking about how this is the first music video I saw where you get a good view of his cool VFX, mask, the Starcadian mask. And I swear to God, I bet a lot of people doing cosplay or producers were thinking, I need a low poly mask too. And I actually, believe it or not, when I got my mask done for Neotropolis, because I got it 3D printed, I wanted to go different than my prior mask, and I wanted it to be low poly. So the nose and everything it's gone a little bit Starcadian.
Yeah, we've done gone Starcadian.
But that led us to, I'm sure most of the people in the chat listening to the radio show are aware that a 10-minute sizzle reel was leaked from the Kung Fury the movie, which is, I guess, the sequel. And we were talking about that. Rob, you mentioned there's a character in there that eerily looks like Starcadian.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I'll just say that.
All of us said exactly the same thing. As soon as that trailer came out, I was like, yeah, with the hood and the mask, I was like, wow. Okay.
I bet you Starcadian would have something to say about that too.
He would. Sure. I can kind of hear it in my head.
What's up with this motherfucker?
Get a few whiskeys in him. Actually, no, you switched to martinis. Actually, we're gonna get around to that. But
yeah, martinis.
Oh my God, yeah. All right, we're gonna read a submission from Zarina, all the way from Spain. Now this is a long one, so we have to break it into two parts. So we're gonna split it with a song. But I'm gonna read this as speedily as I could, as clearly as I can, because I do want to do Zarina justice here. But she writes this. For George, often as artists, our artist persona is a bit like an armor for many good reasons. It's an avatar and a projection of a higher self of some sort, our dreams, wishes, and the complex worlds within ourselves. Being an artist is rather a mystical endeavor, and there's no other king of godly mystique than the masked musical titan we call Starcadian. But the most surprising thing about Starcadian, or George as I prefer to call him, is how quickly the mask and cloak dropped upon meeting him for the first time. No airs, no pretense, no ego. You all know that's rare. It was back in November of 2019 when I had a chance to play a show with him back home in New York at Berlin Under A in the East Village. My husband Carlos and I got to hang with him backstage while setting up for the show. We didn't realize it was him at first because, well, the mask was off and not many had seen George's face. But there was an instant recognition that felt like seeing an old friend from an art and design school, even though we'd never met before. It was bizarre, but Carlos, George, and I all clicked instantly. I think mostly because George radiated this immensely cool, down-to-earth, super funny, chatty, art nerd personality that's familiar grounds. But under the robust character, you can tell there's a very intellectual, all-knowing Jedi Master Yoda type of sage that's already seen and experienced all, yet still knows not to take life seriously at all. The first thing I told George was how much I loved and studied his music video for Freak Night, and how I was blown away and envious of the level of execution and details, which he returned with how much he enjoyed the music video Carlos and I did for Blaze, Dancers of the Yokai. In short, we entered filmmaking nerd arena. I was not expecting to see him to see our video, which literally just dropped a few days prior to our show. I was actually so shy that he had seen it because Carlos and I were such newbies in that world and were nowhere near the level George was. Then we all proceeded with commiserating over how much we torture ourselves making music videos, and that would usually take forever and a lot of money to create. And yet, as soon as you hit publish to premiere it on YouTube, well, that's it. It's done. Poof. Hype is over. It's out in the public without knowing if it's actually going to get seen, and we just hope for the best. But George, Carlos, and I all agreed that we would go back to the drawing board over and over and over because we simply and psychopathically love the art of filming and making music videos, and we will stubbornly keep at it forever. I think a pact was made that night. At some point during that first meeting, somehow, and I don't recall exactly what led us there, I ended up talking about how I didn't know why I was doing synthwave, as I tend to enjoy weird music like Tool and Mike Patton and Faith No More. And then so suddenly, George just lit up like crazy. He got really animated and just passionately talked about Patton and Mr. Bungle,
Mr. Bungle.
and how much he loved, how much he loved their records over and over. I told him I'd never guessed that with all the synth music he also made. That moment was kind of reaffirming. It felt like we were part of a long-lost tribe of weirdos that spoke the same weird language, and we just got reunited. Most people admire and worship George as a synthwave artist-producer Starcadian, and even though we were all in the same music scene in New York, and being fellow Brooklynites living only a short bike ride apart, he was in Greenpoint, we were in Williamsburg, Carlos and I connected with George and developed a unique camaraderie with him as peers in independent filmmaking, particularly in the genre of music videos. He was our fellow slashy in music and visual art. He was the one who also heavily inspired us to take VFX and CGI a little bit more seriously and introduced us to the technical art of it. I don't think Zarina videos would be the way they are today if it weren't for George's encouragement and advice. Ever since, there were a lot of activities, reams of nerdy DMs, emails and texts with George about plans that unfortunately never came to fruition because of the pandemic. Early 2000, I was organizing a big synthwave show at the Knitting Factory, Brooklyn, that George was supposed to headline with Tokyo Rose, and I was supposed to open along with others like Primo. But because of the alarming cases of COVID that rose so quickly in New York City overnight, George and I decided to no longer proceed, rescheduled the show at the very last minute to everyone's sadness, and ultimately canceling it. His exact words of showing responsibility were, "I don't want boomer blood on my hands," which got me giggling really hard despite the gravity of the situation and timing, which was no laughing matter at all. But I just couldn't help but picture him saying it in typical animated George fashion. There's more, but we're going to take a break. We're going to play a track.
Yeah, very, very good point to put a pause on and play some of my favorite tracks from my favorite album.
Yeah.
Which is...
this track is no laughing matter. I love this one. It is amazing. I think it's the first track on the Radio Galaxy album.
Yeah.
So, here it is. This is Starcadian with Neon Head right here on Night Ride FM.
Hiding dancing like the game, stepping on the sky. Heart that clouds are red. Dancing like the game, stepping on the sky. Heart that clouds are red.
And that was Neon Head. Yeah, God,
What a banger.
just what a way to start an album. I mean, honestly, like just with that driving bass line, just absolutely incredible. Yeah.
I think what a way to start an album. You could say that about any song. What a way to end this album. What a way to put a
what a great
middle of the
third
album.
track.
Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I want to do a quick shout out to Perry Winkle, who joined us in the IRC.
Hey, Perry Winkle, thanks for chiming in.
Thanks for tuning
they
in.
are ahead of the Discord, the Starcadian Discord. So
cool.
Very cool stuff. And thank you for putting the event on the Discord, which was nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna finish off Zarina's thing,
Part 2,
and then we can say a few last things. We've got 2 more songs to play, but yeah, let me just get this over with. So Zarina continued. One funny, extremely random project that we also planned was for George to be a feature model in all of his Starcadian epicness in an upcoming ad campaign for the men's shoe line Carlos and I were launching at the time. And she's not kidding.
What?
The shoot unfortunately also got derailed because of the pandemic. If I could go back in time, I would definitely make that one happen no matter what, and get it all framed and showcased in a museum.
Wow.
During the pandemic, Carlos and I eventually moved to Galicia in Spain, and George was one of the few New York pals we stayed in close contact with. He discussed wanting to come to the EU again, not out of just his affinity for the region, but he thought Europeans were simply less TikTok-brained. That's so George.
Amen.
He also wanted to do another tour and schedule a visit in Galicia at one point to check out the seascapes. He was working on the ocean-themed record called The Shadowcatcher at the time. My last interview for Absinthe Space with George was about that project, which included talks about dreams of becoming an ocean wildlife crime-fighting vigilante. All in all, surely, George was beyond just a musical and visual talent. He really was unique and extraordinary, and also just really damn cool, not to mention kind and good-hearted. What makes losing him really painful is that we all believe that we would see more of George these coming years and pick up where we left off with all the plans. George left us the most valuable lesson, a lesson about the gift of time. To George, we will miss you. Thank you for your friendship and showing us what awesome is. May you take your rightful place amongst the stars in full epic glory. I hope we cross paths again in the next dimension. Signed, Vero, Zarina.
Wow.
So, yeah. Starcadian shoes.
Starcadian shoes would have been so cool.
Yeah. With that, we are approaching the end. We do have one more clip to play.
Is this the part of the show where we talk about alcohol? And
yes.
his affinity and my affinity for...
If George had been here, we'd all be six
we would be
sheets to the
plastered to the floors.
And so one of our last interviews with George, aka Starcadian, was to showcase his new album, Radio Galaxy, and this was back in 2023. And we learned some important news about him and martinis. so
funny.
So here he is with a revelation. Go ahead, Dennis, play it.
Here it is.
I guess we're going right into the breaking news, huh?
Yes, of course. All
I have
the
a
time.
confession to make. I've stopped drinking whiskey.
You what?
I still drink, though. I'm still drink like a motherfucker. I'm drinking dirty martinis now. I realize that there's a drink where you basically drink olives and olive juice.
Oh,
and
yes.
you put some alcohol in there just for the,
It's
just for show.
It's a classic. You're like classing it up. That's
if
great.
you order a filthy martini, you're basically drinking salt. It's the best thing on the planet.
Oh my god,
dude, it's amazing.
It's like might as well just go drink from the ocean.
I mean, no one told a fucking Greek that you can drink basically an olive drink. Like you can drink olive oil. Are you kidding me? No one told me this.
Didn't you guys like invent that? Like I figured you like would do everything with olives. Like you have olive like casserole, olive drinks, just you know.
We have olive whiskey.
Use it to like I don't know, clean your car. Like just squeeze it into a. I don't know. Like, didn't you know that?
I didn't know you could drink it like alcohol.
Always something. You know, he hits the ground running whenever he did our show, which was so fun, and I love that. You could genuinely just see the excitement for, you know, alcohol.
George moving from whiskeys to martinis, just yes. The rest of that show, there's a lot of talk about that too.
Yeah, you can always check out our. I'm sure you've checked out our archive because avid Starcadian fans, I'm sure, would be in all the episodes and tune in. So, but if you're not, we have archives. You can always check that out.
Yeah.
And,
so, with that, we are actually at the end of our show.
Did we make it?
Yes, we did.
Oh my god!
Normally, by this time, we'd rattle on about Patreon and our buddies Retro Hit Radio and our website, but I don't think we need to.
No.
This is about Starcadian. I've got one more submission to read. This is from Bird is the Word over in the IRC, and they say, imagine standing next to a masked entity you had no idea would be one of your favorite artists, and then you watch them slip away and onto the stage after the set you just watched. I am infinitely grateful to have had the opportunities to go to space, Neotropolis in brackets, and be surrounded by stars. Thank you, Starcadian, for sharing your art. It will live forever to inspire a future of fantastic creatives.
Amazing. I love it. So yeah, wow.
James, Rob, Jared.
We made it.
You guys are troopers. Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing stories.
Yeah.
And,
thank you for as always as well. Like he will be in the digital clouds in the distance, and we miss him dearly.
Yeah.
And hopefully things will come to fruition in the future where we can listen to his new stuff, or if not, then.
We've got enough. I think there's a good discography that'll keep us. I mean, I think I speak for everyone.
We have the past, and it's like we were talking before as well. There's so many greatest hits. Like when you asked me about my favorite song, it's insane. Like how much
you can't get sick of a Starcadian song. You can play it 1,000 times and never get sick of it.
Yeah, you can't. You favorite.
Yeah.
We're losing you into the stars.
You got a little bit of robots, but the other thing is George himself. As you've heard, anybody who had the chance to bump into him in person at concerts or knew him as a friend, he was a little bit larger than life, even as a person.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I just wanted to say thanks, you guys, for doing this, and I think the world won't be the same without him. But I'm just so lucky. Yeah, I feel lucky for all of us that his music is there. And when I listen to it, I hear new things and new messages. And I'm just happy to have that. And thanks again, guys, for doing this.
I think that's everyone who's tuned in, all his fans. I think we all need a bit of catharsis because I think I posted something. One of the fortunate things about being an artist is you leave a legacy. A lot of us do not. So I'm thankful for him. Thanks, George, for the music and the friendship and deigning to visit our planet for a short little while.
Yeah. And
once again, big thanks to you, Jared, for coming on, and Rob and James. I know it's been a bit of a...
Thank you as well to you guys for putting this on as well. It means a lot.
It's an honor.
It's great to honor his legacy and his life in such a nice way as well. So thank you.
Oh
yeah, absolutely. And I want to thank all the people that put in all those testimonials. Some of those were just so good and eloquent, and it shows what kind of artist that he was to inspire that kind of stuff in others.
Agreed. And you know what? Plastic Geek made a good point. Join the Discord. because Starcadian's Discord is still running, right?
It's still hopping.
And so if you want to find fellow fans to find catharsis with, go there.
Yeah.
It's still bopping. And I also want to send our thoughts and love to his family and loved ones, of course.
Absolutely.
Because they're probably really, really hurting. So yeah. You know what? I'm going to do a quick thing because this was a pretty epic show. Dennis, don't kill me.
Okay.
I'm going to do a roll call of everybody that has participated in the chats.
Can I go crack a beer now? Because
no, I'll be quick. All right. So from the beginning of the show, there's so many of you have stuck through this long 3.5-hour show, and it is a Starcadian show. And I think if I was a fan, I would love to hear my name heard again. So to Mocha, Nas, Plastic Geek, Kyla Carnage, Labyrinthine Complexities, Craig Packman, Lobster, Sammy T, Crimson, Dysterian, Jared, yourself, of course, Graphic Mercenary, Rose, Sorcery Avery, Computer M, Fooling Took, Ultra Love, James, Synthwave 83, Bite, Smitty, Powerplay Milo, Storm, Hearts and Beta, Jonathan Munitz, Peyton Janning, Infamy, Ryan, Karen Zoe Lee, Cheese Juice, Tesla Night Productions, Brendan Rosansky, The Undead Weasel, Carousel Computing, Pilot, Haggis Salt, Luke, Yokai Props, Phil Rain, Power Rob, Eliza Effect, Nick Silvestri, Jack Attack VHS, The Traveling Duchess, Jeremiah Booth, Cuddles, Damian Jackson, Z, Starfair, Chell Shock, The Space Amoeba, Elizabeth Finnegan, Trio 226, Ruth Kill, Nick V, Bird is the Word, Rob O'Neill, yourself, of course, and Periwinkle.
Wow.
I got everyone. So thank you all for tuning in. We're going to play you out with our last Arcadian track of the evening. Dennis, you picked this one.
This is my favorite, hands down, and I know it had a different meaning, a different spin when he first wrote it, but to me, like, this just, it took on a whole new meaning, after his passing for me. Mm-hmm. And this is a track that was reworked, mostly just took the samples out, and the way that it's been presented now to me is just perfect. It's just a fitting, it's just a fitting end to the show, and to seeing him someday out there in the stars or in the ocean or where the ocean meets the stars, who knows?
Wherever. So it's the titular track from the Shadowcatcher EP. And from all of us here at Night Ride FM, thanks for listening, and may Starcadian's art always move you. Have a good night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.